Hi all, today we are going to see about smoke testing. So what is smoke testing? I can say it's a boon for a software development as it can be used as a verification method that can ensure that product is stable and 100% functional. So I'll give you a very real-time example so that you can understand what is smoke testing. Suppose you're ordering a book from Amazon. So what you'll do, the moment you receive the parcel, you take the book, that is you take the cardboard box or a parcel addressed to you, and then you make sure whether the parcel is intact and it's not torn, it's safe. Fine. Next what you do, you open the parcel and see the books, whatever you have got, it's fine, it's within whatever you have ordered, and make sure it is new and it's not old. And then what you do, you take your book, you flip through the pages to make sure that everything is good, it's not torn, it's not the corners are not bended, everything is fine, right? So you're doing all this stuff, right? Suppose if you're getting in cosmetics, you're opening the parcel, you're checking whether the parcel is not, the product inside the parcel is not leaked, and then you check this is not expired, and when you can use or recently manufactured, all those things you do it, right, once you get a parcel. So that is called your smoke testing. Now I'll say you have done with your smoke testing for the parcel. Okay, so the thing is, when a build in a software is done, the moment the build is finished, you'll test it before a full-fledged testing is done for the whole software. So that is nothing but your smoke testing. Okay, so how smoke testing is done? So you will have n numbers of builds. You can say like modules, you have n numbers of builds, build 1, 2, 3. Suppose if a first build 1 is completed, what you do is like when the build 1 is completed, it's undergoing a smoke test. So each and every build of a software is completed, then and there is actually going for a testing before it's going for a full-fledged testing. I'll tell you why then and there it's going for a testing. I'll tell you in the next slide. Okay, so first build number 1 is going for a smoke testing once it's completed, and they'll check whatever the functionalities requirement, what needs to be checked in that build, because for each and every software the requirements and functionalities differ. Yes, so if a smoke test, that build is getting passed, fine, it will be proceed to the other test, functional test, regression test, system test, whatever test it might be. But if it is not passed, it will be rejected and it will go to the developer to say that this build is rejected in the smoke test. So make sure what is the error you have got and fix it. So this is how the smoke test is actually done. And then why we need smoke testing? Fine, I told you, right? So the smoke testing is done before a full-fledged testing is done for a whole software or a whole system. Yes, just imagine a situation, you have 10 people in your testing team. Okay, so now people are saying like, development people is saying like, now okay, my build is ready, can you please start testing? So what you'll do, so now we are going to test it, all 10 people are going to test. But the thing is like, there might be a situation where either the expected code changes or not, or the build does not meet the requirement, or some major functionality is broken, or the integration part between two modules is broken, or it's failed. So what will happen? So here, if you would have done build test, that is we have done a smoke test each and every time the build is done, mostly 90 to 95% of the errors will be rectified. But if you are not going to do that, and as a whole system, if it's going to be given to you and the 10 testers in a testing team is going to check, and suddenly they have tested for almost 8 hours and they found that some major problems are there in the software, what happens? So they have to either stop the testing or they have to do it again after the developers are going to fix it. Yes, so what happens for the 10 tester team who worked for almost 8 hours, that is for one tester is going to check for 8 hours, then 10 into 8, 80 hours. 80 hours for a particular software testing is really wasted. So because of this, 80 hours of productivity is lost, because these resources can be indulged in some other testing, some other software testing, some other build testing. But now they have tested almost 80 hours, 10 people have tested for almost 8 hours, that is total hours for 10 testers is 80 hours. So now all their testing, their work, energy, everything is lost. Now what they have to do is like, once the developer has to fix it again, then they have to check. So there is no any assurance that once they are going to fix it, it is not assured like if you are not going to do the smoke test again, and if it's going to come to you as a whole system, and if you are going to check it again, then again there might be chances that your energy and time is going to be wasted. So this is the reason why we need to have a smoke test done before jumping into a full-fledged testing cycle. If it's going to be as a whole system for you, and testing is really going to take a lot of time, and finally if you find that the product is not meeting the requirement or some major functionality is broken, then it's really a waste of time. You have to do it again, where the previously tested time will be completely lost and your productivity will be lost. Okay, now when and how often we do smoke testing? I told smoke testing is a frequent one, then and there testing. Yes, so these are all the initial builds, and then for each and every builds a smoke test will be done. Okay, so if the smoke test is passed, then it will go for the further test. If it is rejected, it will again go back to the developer. And then now when and how often we do smoke testing, I told like the whatever I have told you in this slide, that's what I have explained here. Smoke testing normally takes a maximum of 60 minutes and should be done for every new build. So they're saying like for every new build it will take only a maximum of 60 minutes. So every new release, even if that means doing it on a daily basis, if you are going to do it on a daily basis, testing for one build will be not more than 60 minutes. Maximum time itself is 60 minutes if you are going to do it regularly. But if you are not going to do it regularly, so this is not going to be the case. It will take a lot of time for the testers to check it. So once the product is stable, you can think about automatic smoke testing. So actually you have two things here. So smoke testing are done in two bases. One is automatic and the other one is manual. So they are saying like this smoke testing can be done in a continuous integration automation tool pipeline. This is what called CI pipeline, that is continuous integration pipeline. So once if you're going to know that this software is going to check for each and every build, this smoke testing is going to happen for each and every build, then you can put it in a CI, that is continuous integration automation tool pipeline, and then automatically each build will be checked here and there, and then it will prevent an unstable or a defected or an unbroken build from being pushed into the production or into the other further test. Okay, so what is smoke testing cycle? So suppose there is one build, there is build 1.0, the initial build that I have developed for a software. So actually the smoke testing is done by a quality assurance lead. Quality assurance is a separate team which is actually formed in order to check the quality of your software. So smoke testing will be mostly done by the quality assurance lead. So the build will be going to the quality assurance, and then quality assurance lead will prioritize the test cases based on the lead, that is based on the build of the software, and then they execute those test cases for a particular build, and if it is passed, it will be going for the further testing, functional testing, regression testing, whatever. If it fails, it will go back to the development team and then they'll fix it. They rebuild it. Okay, so what are the scenarios that need to be included in a smoke test? First one is build verification. The foremost thing in the smoke test is to verify whether the build number is how many build needs to be developed, and environment availability. Okay, the entire testing effort will go wasted if the builds are not right. So the first thing is like build verification, how many number it has to be produced for a particular software, and all the environment availability for producing those. And the next one is your account creation. Suppose if your application or if a software has a account creation, if a new user is going to log in, and then you have to make sure as a smoke tester, you have to create a new login, and then you have to check each and every time whether you are able to log in. What many people do is like they usually use the old credential and then they log in and say like, okay fine, this build is fine. But that should not happen. Each and every time you are going to test a build, that is account creation build, you have to create a new credential, and then you have to make sure it's entering or it's logging in properly, and then log in and log out. Once we are going to log in, and then you have to make sure the logout is actually happening properly. And then business critical feature. This is very, very important. For all measures of business critical features, we should do a simple test to ensure that the most commonly used functionalities are not broken. The main core functionalities, the main core requirements are not broken, they are properly functioning. The next one is an integration scenario. Maybe if you're having 5 builds for your software and all 5 builds are fine, no problem. But while you're going to integrating those 5 builds, there comes a problem because there are a lot of errors that's going to come to you while integrating. Integrating interface is not easy. So you can develop 5 units separately, but if you're now going to integrate it, that's going to be really big deal because it's going to be a lot of error. Maybe for example, a compatibility error or environment error. One person would have developed a build in some other OS. The other person would have built the that is other build in some other environment. When they are going to build it, so it's going to show a lot of errors. So integration scenario, you have to have a point in the integration interface in order to make sure that is not going to give you any problem. And then add, edit, delete. So data is always used in the database. Okay, so in the 3 basic operations you usually have it in the database is a record, record adding, and then record editing, and then deleting the record. So you have to make sure that all these 3 operations are happening properly in your database. And then overall navigations. So when you have this overall navigations, when your whole product is done, and then you have to make sure you have to go to each and every part of your software and you have to say like the flow of information from one system to the other system is what is actually happening properly or not. So you have to click to the each and every build and you have to make sure that all the navigations are working properly and the flow of information is working properly. And the next one is how to run smoke testing. So for each and every testing, the main thing is like you need an environment. Yes, the environment is your base. So in order to make your environment properly, you have to prepare your atmosphere or environment by copying such files, setting up the server properly, and then acquiring a proper documents to test in, because you should know what all needs to be done in particular build. So those required document needs to be acquired by you, and then you also should make sure that you are running a script on the test. So that script is going to tell you whether this test is failure or passed. So in case if it is failed, you can set that script to the developing team and say like this particular build is actually failed, please look into it. Okay, and then the next one is ensure a clean environment. So before you are going for a testing, smoke testing, make sure you delete unwanted files and then empty the database, or the old database can be backed up, and then you make sure you empty the database. And make sure you have taken all the necessary documents relating to your smoke testing is there in your database. And then who will perform the smoke test? As I already told you, usually quality assurance lead will be the one who will be performing the smoke test. Suppose if you are taking an application, maybe a shopping cart, suppose a build has been released for a shopping cart. So what you do here, you take a test suite. From that you take a test suite is a whole collection of test cases, and then from there you take a smoke test cases, and then from there you are going to access the home page. So when you are going to the home page, you try adding to the cart, and then you access all the menu links, and then you also, as I told you earlier, also try to log in and log out by placing the order. So if all these are going to, if you are going to check out and place order, if all these are going to happen properly, that is passed, you'll move for the other type of testing. If it is failed, it is rejected, and then you'll back go to the developer, to the release build itself. So the same thing, the quality assurance lead will be performing the smoke test. So the persons who are under the quality assurance lead have to be there under quality assurance team lead. They'll be sit as a group, and then they'll discussing the main features of the software or the build, and then they'll be doing the smoke testing successfully. So in short, a smoke testing is done in a development atmosphere to make sure that the build is satisfying the requirements. So this is an example for smoke testing. Suppose this is an example to check login functionality. So what you'll do, first you will launch the app. Build is released for checking the login functionality. So you launch the app, and then you go to the login page, you enter the credentials, that is new credentials, not the older one, and then you click login. If it's successfully logging in, fine, it's pass. Actual expected results is it should successfully log in, and then actual result login successfully, then fine, it's pass. And then when you're going to check for a video launch functionality, you go to the video page and then click the video, and then if the video is going to play properly, fine, it's pass. So expected result is there should be smooth playback of the video, but actual result, if the video player is not popping up, or it's showing like it's broken, this feature is not available, or this feature is not compatible here, and then you can say the status is failed, and then this will be directed back to the developer and saying that there is a problem. So benefits of smoke testing: integration risk is minimized, the quality of the end product is improved, obviously by checking here and there, error diagnosis and corrections are simplified, progress is easier to access. So these are the benefits of smoke testing. Thank you. We'll see you in another video. Thank you so much.